Hello, I'm Josh. You're about to see everything I ate and drank and did in about 3.5 profoundly gluttonous days in New York City with special guest, my favorite human on planet Earth. Along the way, I'm gonna try to explain how New York made me feel both very alive and very close to death. Let's get started. Since we arrived in the evening, day zero was pretty short. We checked into our hotel and got some New York City nighttime vibes on our way to this extremely delicious dinner with a spicy secret. Actually, it's not a secret at all. It's literally in the name of the restaurant, but remarkably, I don't think you can tell what it is just by looking at it, because that's not chicken, that's not chorizo, that's not even cheese. This whole meal was vegan. From there, we met some friends at Cellar Dog, a basement with a bunch of games in it where I realized just how bad I really am at ping pong, or table tennis, or paddle play, or whatever. Cool place, cooler people. Good night. Good morrow. After my last trip to New York, I made a few food videos, and then this one about the effect New York had on me, which Casey Neistat commented on. It freaked me right the heck out. It was about how every second I spend in this city, it somehow feels like there's more life in that second. And by the end of this first day, I think you're definitely gonna see what I mean. And up first, Tompkins Square bagels. I got an egg and cheese on everything. This was a great bagel, but not my favorite I've ever had. That's coming up though, let me tell you, good grief. After swallowing our bagels whole, wife etc. and I met a friend at Bath House, which I can't show you the inside of because everybody's half naked, or in the locker rooms, regular naked, so no cameras. But I can show you their social media, which seems to imply that the whole place is basically just a bunch of unusually attractive people alternating between sweating and shivering with really cool vibes. However, after spending 3 hours there, I can safely say that's what it is. We had a really nice time. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it. You're gonna see a lot of cafes in this video, but after multiple visits to New York, I can now confirm Coffee Project has firmly grasped its spot as my favorite cafe in the city. Everything I've ever had here, from the pastries to the coffees, smacks a whole bag of booties. And that's despite that I had a really weird experience there later in the video. But enough foreshadowing! When I was figuring out what pizzas to devour on this trip, holy heck, look at this weather. This is absurd. It was like this the entire trip. We got so lucky. Anyway, I discovered that two frontrunners for best pizza in New York had locations hilariously close to each other. Game theory, am I right? So I thought it'd be fun to compare them one right after another for a little post-sauna gluttonous lunch. First, L'Industrie. Their pizza, wait, what are those? I came here for pizza, but I think I might have to. This is called millefeuille, or 1,000 sheets. And if you're thinking that sounds like French and so does l'industrie, well, mais mon ami, tu as raison, and I'm just as, look at that ceiling though. Man. And I'm just as confused as you are, but I love it. I'm sure there's a story behind all that, but the pizza's here, and it's some of the best I have ever had. This one was my favorite, and thinking about this crust still makes me salivate. Alors, juste au coin de la même rue. Mama's too. Here's the ceiling, and here are some of their wares. My friend got this buffalo chicken one, holy cow, and wife etc. and I got these bad boys. I'm not even being melodramatic here. I can barely handle seeing this pizza again to edit this video. I can still taste it. I can still feel that life-changing crunch on my front teeth. Both of these pizza places are among the top 5 I've ever had in my life. But which one is better? Well, here I get philosophical because I think it's context dependent. If I want a thinner slice to scratch the classic pizza itch and then move on with my day, it's this one. But if I want to taste the most ridiculously decadent bite of pizza paradise that human hands can create and then spend the rest of my day on the couch pondering existence, it's this one. One thing's for sure though, I'm ruined. I am completely ruined. I'm a grown boy, nearly crying now, because these pizzas, alas, are now so far away. They're gone now, because I ate them. I know it's a common saying that in New York you can tell who the tourists are by where they look, because only the tourists look up at the buildings. And that makes sense to me, because I don't know about you, but where I'm from, they really don't make them like this. And it really is crazy the kind of radical splendor people can, over time, get habituated to. I can see why, after years of living in the New York hustle and bustle, you might get too busy to look up and remember that you're surrounded by gobsmackingly gigantic spires created by human hands. To me, that's magnificent. But if you live here, it might just be the city. So that saying might be true. But personally, I think it's remarkable that in this city, the angle of someone's gaze might be the only way you can tell if they're a tourist. Because New York is so diverse that absolutely anyone, no matter where they're from, can fit right in. Anyway, it's cold. Let's get some tea. This tea shop was the size of some people's walk-in closets in a really charming way, but that also meant there wasn't anywhere to sit, so we drank our tea on a tiny little wooden bench outside and watched the sunset, kinda. There's a weird kind of peace to be found in the tremendous ebb and flow of Manhattan, like you're a tiny drop in a gigantic metropolitan sea. Or maybe it's just the contrast, because most moments are so chaotic that when you do happen upon some peace and quiet, you really notice, and you feel it, like you're standing in the eye of the world's windiest human storm. Whatever those moments are, I really like them. And also I really like this tea so much that we brought some home and I'm drinking it just as I write this. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I'm gonna have some more in just a sec. Oh, it's so good. Here's the ceiling of a ramen shop that made the whole street smell like real life Japan a quarter mile away, so you know it's gonna be good. The atmosphere felt just like Osaka too, except for the young couple having an intensely emotional conversation in public, which is about the least Japanese thing I can think of, except that they were pretty quiet about it. Nothing I can say about this ramen will be more descriptive of its glory than watching it slosh around like this, so see you again? Man, I wish. But I don't live here, Minkoi Sato. I'm just sleeping here for a few nights, eating you, and trying not to fall in love. Yeah, I know, right? All that was only one full day. Oh, this is gonna be tough. It's only getting harder from here. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? That's a cardamom bun, and we're gonna gulp it, along with these short Americanos and this big ol' wazow. Just kidding, I know how to say it. Still not enough baked goods. This place is hyped, to say the least, and they basically only sell two things: coffee and these light, airy muffin doohickeys adorably called spongies for $1 in New York. This one is black sesame, and they do indeed have spongy properties. This one's banana chocolate chip, but we like the sesame one better. Sometimes you just want something that's very wholesome and very tasty, and this did that for us, and we really liked it. Food is everywhere in New York. It's even in this bookstore, in which the shelves present a mix of used books and unused pickles. A beautifully faithful reflection, I can only assume, of the proprietor's own briny bookish brain. It was absolutely delightful. This ring costs $35,000, and it is lunchtime in Chinatown. The next few hours of eating was the only part of this trip that I filmed vertically to make a fun little video with my New York foodie friend Cass, aka Casserole Bites. If you want to see that video, it's on YouTube too, so I'll put a link down below. All the food was just so good. Anyway, turns out Cass is also a walking treasure trove of knowledge, not just about food, but super cool store recommendations, so that's what we did next. Here's the ceiling, lots of cool stuff hanging from it, cool stuff on the floor too, like this shell, roughly the same size as my gigantic head. We bought a cute little mushroom for $6 buckaroonies. Cass is awesome. This afternoon was awesome, and now I'm gonna tell you about the weirdest experience of this entire trip, and even though I told you it's coming, you're not gonna see it coming. This is the coffee project I went to last time I was in New York. I got a cold drink because it was hot out, and a banana cream pie thing, both of which knocked my socks off. Here's the ceiling. It's pretty good. But look at this pastry cabinet. Sheesh, I feel like I should blur it, or no. We're all adults here. We got a guava cheesecake Danish, and just look at that bad boy. Oh, look at all this stuff. It's not even trying to be aesthetic. It's just sitting there right in front of me, looking all gorgeous and stuff, getting me all hot and bothered. All of it seriously tastes as good or better than it looks too. So seriously, Coffee Project has to be my favorite place. Okay, random event. Just sitting there getting coffee. and just thinking about life. And then suddenly this guy at the table next to me gags and then proceeds to vomit into his hand as he sprints out of the cafe. He just threw up everywhere. He just threw up all over the place. And he came back in and he was like, sorry guys, I feel better now. I'm glad it feels better. That was weird. That was a random event. All right. Very respectable ceiling. This restaurant is not in New York. It's in South Korea. I know that because it's not clear at all what's vegetarian, but everyone's still being really nice as they try to explain which broths use meat parts and which ones use fish to us in their second or third or seventh language. And after they explain it to us, we're still going to eat all of it anyway, because when we travel to other countries, like we're in now, we're not nearly as strict about our typical vegetarianism. I also know we're in South Korea because we didn't order any of these tiny little delicious plates, they just came out anyway, and because all of this was absolutely, freakishly, gloriously delicious, yet extremely reasonably priced. Seriously, $46 for all this stuff? You cannot tell me this is in New York, but it's time for bed. Good morning. Apollo Bagels. I'll be honest, first impression, I'm wondering, where in tarnation is my egg and cheese? And how dare they? Man, that's actually a really nice ceiling. Furthermore, the only seating in here is one bay window, but while Wife Etc. ordered, I snatched it, which was the first birthday miracle of the day. But despite my reservations, this place slaps. Holy cow, it's so good. If you like your bagels soft, you'll probably like Thompson Square better, but if you like them with a little bit of tooth-titillating chew like I do, Apollo is the one piece, the mother lode, Plato's perfect form of a bagel. Our flight back to North Carolina was at 10 p.m. that night, so we still had plenty more stuff to do, but we had to go ahead and check out of our hotel, which was fine, by the way, despite the deeply unremarkable ceiling. And now it was time for one last adventure. Yes, it's time to escape the metropolitan tides of Manhattan and relax at some nice, chill cafes on the quaint, quiet, beautiful streets of Brooklyn. Say Coffee, really good vibes, really good ceiling, got some plants up there hanging around, tantalizing bars of some kind purchased, along with a couple of coffees that were good. Nothing that wild, honestly. We weren't super impressed. Another! Dayglow, about a 4-second walk from the first one. Different vibes in here, definitely more laid back. Birthday Miracle, number 2. The barista said they accidentally made an extra one of this drink, so because we happened to be sitting at the bar, they gave it to us. It's called a coquito, which translates to little bitty cute little coconut. Yeah, I had no words. This drink slapped. Lunch. The lesson here is that it is actually possible to go wrong when eating in New York if, for example, you order a falafel burger and fries at a Lebanese place like I did, because this was pretty firmly mid, especially the fries, but I take full responsibility because I should have just gotten the falafel pita with no fries like a sensible person, except that it did take like 45 minutes for the food to come out, which like wasn't my fault, so I don't know about this one. I don't know.
You were in my room, and I can see your smile. I said, madam, I said, madam, I said, madam, I said, madam, I said, ma. She just walking up shy, Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's time for donuts, with a really good ceiling and a cute little jukebox that makes me feel like I'm in a Fallout game, but without the mutants and the radiation. Boston cream, orgasmic chocolate redundancy, both exceptionally delicious, 10 holy hex out of 10. Good grief. Ah, yes, we're winding down now, aren't we? Taking a train to the pretty part of Brooklyn, the old Park Slope and so forth. Yes, all good things must come to an end. You think about that kind of stuff once you're officially 3 decades ripe. You think about how the schools are really good here because your friend who lives in Brooklyn just told you that in an enticing tone, as if you really need more reasons to want to be here. You think twice about ordering another croissant. Sorry. Croissant. You think about how life doesn't always need to be so busy, or at least how you wish it didn't have to be all the time. You think about how one day you might just want peace, nature, ducks, friends, ice skating with humans you created from your own rapidly aging loins, a boldly columnar structure in which to hold audience with your friends and ducks and loin babies. You think about crossing the street and about the post-COVID rise in pedestrian fatalities, and you think about how exactly this restaurant got a B sanitation rating, but because you're not 40 yet, you eat there anyway. It was delicious. And just like that, the sun was setting on this trip, and there was only one more very random stop. It was a Sunday night, so most places were closed, but this bar happened to be open. The last thing I ate in New York was this chocolate lava cake, which happens to be one of my favorite things, and also happens to be a cake with a little candle in it on what happened to be my birthday. In this moment, my heart felt even warmer and meltier than the cake, and life felt as fleeting as the candle. The staff didn't sing to me, but that's all right. I don't think most people enjoy that anyway. Plus, I felt like the whole city had been singing to me for roughly 3.5 days straight, and I was just so happy to be there.
Oh no, too low. Go again. Yes. Yeah.
You know, as much as Wife Etc. and I would love to live in New York, I'm actually kinda glad that we're never here for very long. It forces us to savor every view, every bite of food, every minute with our friends here. It makes us wide-eyed travelers who look up and see New York City for the amazing place that it is. And that is a metaphor. Because here's the thing, assuming I'm lucky enough to live for 90 years, 1/3 of my life is already over. And if I live to 60, well then I'm over halfway and there's already more life behind me than there is ahead. And that first 30 went really fast. Because as we all know, but usually prefer not to think about, life is a very short trip. But just like New York, it's still so easy to get too busy to appreciate life for the beautiful, fleeting fever dream that it is. And one day, very soon, it'll be time to leave.
Oh, really? It's my birthday. Oh, it's my birthday. Oh.
So, before that day comes, for you and for me, I hope we found plenty of moments. In fact, I hope we found all the moments we possibly could to look up.